Hello, 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 signing agents out there everywhere. How are you guys today? If you are watching live, happy Saturday afternoon. If you're watching the replay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is that you are watching. I'm excited to have you guys here, whether you are watching live or whether you are watching on the replay. You guys know I love being a signing agent and I love helping people who want to be signing agents to not just be signing agents, but to be excellent signing agents. I really take pride in being a signing agent, and it's been very important for me since my very first day of being a signing agent to do this thing right. And so, since I've been doing it for so many years, and I know there's so many people who are constantly coming into the industry, I like teaching people the things that they need to know to be a good signing agent, an excellent signing agent, an error-free signing agent, because our profession as notary signing agents, specifically specializing in getting real estate documents signed and notarized, is extremely, extremely, extremely important, guys. And many, many people in the transaction, the buyers, the sellers, the refinancers, the real estate agents, the lenders, the title companies, everybody is counting on us to get our job done right the first time and not make mistakes. So, while I know that this is not an exciting subject, what I am going to talk about today are signing agent mistakes that you need to stop making. If you are already a signing agent, I'm going to point out some of the big mistakes that I see signing agents make so that you don't make them anymore. And if you are a new or an aspiring signing agent, I want to teach you what these mistakes are so that you never make them to begin with. And guys, here's the thing. Not only does that benefit the signers, the lenders, the real estate agents, and the title companies, but guys, it also benefits us. The best way to get signing agent business, the best way to get higher paying signing agent business is to be error free. But before we get started, guys, you know I'm going to always ask you, do me a favor. Do me a personal favor for Kendra. Hit that like button, whether you are watching this on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube. Go ahead and hit that like button. And then, if you really like me, if you really want to do me a favor, head on over to YouTube and also hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell. Guys, y'all know I've been putting out content for you guys for years, and I'm always putting out new videos and providing new information for you. So when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you get access to all of these videos that I put out. And when you hit the notification bell, you will be notified as soon as a new video, a new live stream, a new short, a new whatever is put out on my channel. So again, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. And then if you're not already on YouTube, head over to YouTube, hit the subscribe button, and then hit the notification bell. I see people are still coming into the live stream. And of course, there's going to be people watching this on the replay. So whether you are watching this on the live stream or if you are watching this on the replay, tell me either down in the chat or down in the comments what city and state you are in. And then let me know whether you are an aspiring signing agent. Maybe you're just checking this thing out. You have not actually done any loan signings. That makes you an aspiring signing agent. A new signing agent, you've been a signing agent for 1 year or less, or a veteran signing agent. You've been doing this signing agent thing for more than a year. So again, whether you are watching this live or you are watching the replay, let me know either down in the chat or down in the comments what city and state you are in, and then let me know whether you are an aspiring signing agent, a new signing agent, or a veteran signing agent. And then, guys, do me a favor, especially if you are on the live stream or if you are on the live stream. I usually have some folks who will come into the live stream a little bit late and they freak out because they missed some of the information and they always want to know, will the replay be available? The answer to that question is yes. The replay will be available as soon as the live stream is over. So if you guys see anybody in the live stream chat who asks, will the replay be available? It absolutely will. As soon as the live stream is over, you will be able to watch the replay of this live stream. Let's see who we've got up in here today. We've got Josetta. Awesome. Happy to see you. We've got Randy. Good afternoon. It is afternoon here on the live stream. We've got Deborah. What's up, Deborah? How you doing? We've got Wendy Hernandez from Dallas. My Texas people always show up and show out. I mean, I might be a little bit biased because I'm a Texas notary, but Texas, the Texas signing agents, it's just, we're special. We're just special. I'm happy to see each and every one of you guys, though. We've got folks here from Salisbury, North Carolina. We've got Kevin from Austin, right down the street. We've got Willing Mobile Notary from California. I love my California people, West Coast folks. What's going on? We've got Dion here from Ohio, and Dion is an aspiring signing agent. We've got B. Gill from Houston, also an aspiring signing agent. Look, guys, all of you who are aspiring signing agents and you are here on this live stream, I am so happy to have you. Again, it is better to learn what to do and what not to do before you get started than it is to learn it late. So I am thanking you guys for taking your future signing agent business serious and learning ahead of time what you need to know. Deborah is here from Chicago. She's a new signing agent. We've got folks here from Hollandale Beach, Florida, aspiring signing agent. Guys, aspiring signing agents. We've got NJB from Houston. Hey, what is up? Guys, keep on telling me what city and state you are in. Keep on telling me whether you are an aspiring signing agent, a new signing agent, or a veteran signing agent. And again, let me know this, whether you are on the live stream or if you are watching the replay. I love to see where all of you folks are checking out the video from. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of things, there's a couple things I do want to tell you. First of all, yes, there will be a Q&A session at the end of the live stream. So guys, if you can, try to hold your questions until the end of the live stream. It'll just help me. I won't have to scroll up so much trying to find the questions. I'm going to do my best to stay on the topic of this video, but if you do have other questions, you can certainly ask them. But again, try your best to stay on the topic of this video. And if I do miss your question during the live stream, or if you are watching this in the replay and you have a question, that is okay. Put your question in the comments. If I miss it in the chat, I always go back through the chat and the comments to answer any questions that I may miss. Now, you guys know I always have freebies for you. And of course, people want to know, where my free stuff at? Well, your freebies are going to be in the description box of the YouTube video. So if you are watching this on Facebook, or if you are watching this on LinkedIn, you will need to head on over to this video on my YouTube channel. Then, if you are watching this on your laptop or desktop computer, if you look underneath the video and underneath the title of the video, you're going to see a little bit of the description box, and you will see the word more. Click the word more to open up the description box. Now, if you, like most folks, like myself, you're probably watching this on your mobile device, like your cell phone. So there's a couple of extra steps if you are on your mobile device. Again, look underneath the video. Look underneath the title of the video. You are going to see the word more. Click on the word more. Then it's going to open the description box up a little bit, and you will have to click the word more again. So make sure that you click more that second time. Then, whether you are on your computer or on your mobile device, once you click more once or twice, it is going to open up the description box. And then there's going to be links to where you can download the freebie items that I have for you. So now you're probably asking, well, what freebies, Kendra, do you have for us? Well, guys, I always have my free new signing agent checklist available. One of the things that I always hear from new and aspiring signing agents is, what do I need to do to get started? What are the steps that I need to take? What do I need to do first? What do I need to do second? What do I need to make sure that I don't forget? Well, guys, I have created a checklist for you that outlines what you need to do and the order that I suggest you do those things in. So if you are a new or an aspiring signing agent, I would highly advise that you download that checklist to make sure that you are doing and following all of the steps that you need to follow to get started as a signing agent. The other freebie that I have for you guys is my free AI guide for notaries. Now, guys, AI, stuff like ChatGPT, are quickly becoming more widely used and can be extremely helpful in your notary and your signing agent business. But there's a little bit of a learning curve on how to use AI like ChatGPT. So, again, guys, I have laid out steps and hints for you that will help you use AI effectively in your notary business and in your signing agent business. And guys, this is stuff that I have learned through trial and error. So now you ain't got to go through the trial and error. All you got to do is download that free AI guide to help you learn how to use AI and ChatGPT to improve your notary and signing agent business. All right, guys, so we are going to get started. I'm going to talk about the mistakes that you need to stop making as a signing agent. And before I really even get into that, again, guys, I just want to remind you and I want to stress to you that as signing agents who are specializing in getting real estate documents signed and notarized, our jobs are very important. Our job isn't difficult. You don't need a college degree. It's not super complicated. Our job is not difficult, but our job is very important. And one of the biggest things that we need to make sure that we're doing is we need to make sure that we are following the law and we need to strive to be error-free. Now, of course, nobody is 100% error-free. Nobody never makes any mistakes, but we want to be as close to error-free as possible to make the real estate process, this ending part of it, as smooth and as easy for all of the parties involved. And then also we have to remember that before we're even signing agents, we are notaries public, and we have a duty to the public. And our duty as notaries is to deter fraud. That is the first and most important part of our jobs as notaries public and as notary signing agents. We are here to deter fraud. It's not just to sign and stamp a piece of paper. When we sign and stamp that piece of paper, we're basically saying that we have followed certain steps to prevent fraud in the transaction. So, as you can see here on the screen, our notary signing agent's role in the mortgage process is to first deter fraud. And we do that by verifying a signer's identity and their willingness to sign following our state notary law. Every state has decided this is acceptable identification. Every state has decided this is what you need to do to make sure that a person is willing to sign. So you need to know your state notary law, and you need to follow that notary law when you are identifying signers and when you are verifying their willingness to sign. Then the next step is the signing agent stuff. We give signers a brief description of their documents. We make sure the documents are signed, dated, and notarized correctly. And then we return the completed package to the company that hired us. So again, guys, our first and most important job, our first and most important duty is to prevent fraud. We do that by requiring that the signer personally appear before us. Then we verify their identity according to our state's notary law. And then we verify their willingness to sign, again, according to our state notary law. So the first big mistake that I see signing agents make, and I'm going to say, guys, I see new signing agents making this mistake, and I even see veteran signing agents making this mistake. The first mistake that we need to stop making as signing agents is not verifying the signer's identity properly. So when we're verifying identity, it's not just grabbing their driver's license. Oh, this person has a driver's license. Or, oh, this person has a passport. There's more to verifying a person's identity than just seeing that they have an ID card. We need to make sure that the signer provides identification that is acceptable for our state notary law. So that's the first step. So to give an example, here in the state of Texas, our state notary law says that the identification card or passport or document that the person gives to us has to have certain things. It has to be current. It has to have a photograph, and it has to have a signature from the person. So if a person hands me an identification card, and if that identification card does not have a signature, it doesn't matter what that identification card is. If it does not have a signature, it is not acceptable ID in the state of Texas. And a good example of that is the new active duty military ID cards. They don't have a signature on them. So according to the state of Texas notary law, an active duty military ID is not acceptable for notarization. So guys, how do you know whether or not an ID is acceptable for notarization in your state? You need to look at your state notary law. That's first and foremost. All right. So then we've got the ID. We've checked to see if it has the elements that our state requires. So then the next step is to look and see if the name on that ID reasonably matches the name on the documents. So you got to remember, guys, it is the signer's responsibility to provide acceptable identification. It is not our job to make the ID work if the signer does not provide acceptable identification. Again, our state outlines what we can and cannot accept. The signer has to give us ID that we can accept, and the name has to reasonably match the name that is on the document. So let me give you some example, because name discrepancies, the name not matching the name on the ID and the name on the documents, is a big spot where notaries and signing agents mess up and make mistakes. The most common name discrepancies that I see are last name discrepancies. And I'm going to go into detail about each of these. I'm just kind of giving you an overview. Last name discrepancies, nicknames, and suffixes. These are the three areas where I see name discrepancies the most. All right. So let's talk about last name discrepancies. And the area where I see last name discrepancies happening the most is with women after they get married. So guys, let me tell you something. I don't know if you guys know this, but getting married does not legally change your last name on your identification. When you get married, you have a choice whether or not you want to keep your current last name, whether you want to adopt your spouse's last name, or whether you want to figure out some totally new last name. But regardless of that, just because you get married, that does not legally change your last name. It is the signer's responsibility to use their marriage certificate to obtain a new ID that is acceptable for our state notary law with the proper last name. So I will see stuff like this all the time. So let's say we've got a lady named Jane Smith, and she gets married to John Thomas. I will see lenders draw up the documents with the name Jane Thomas because she got married. However, all of her ID says Jane Smith, even though she got married. Even though she's got a marriage certificate, that does not change her last name on the identification. And the only name that I can go off of as the notary is the name that is on her identification card. So if her identification card says Jane Smith and the documents say Jane Thomas, I cannot notarize her as Jane Thomas, because I do not have what my state requires as proper ID for notarization. And then I'll sometimes have people say, oh, well, I just got married. Here is my marriage certificate. Well, a marriage certificate by itself is generally not acceptable as proof of identity. Now, you can take that marriage certificate to, here in Texas, it's our Department of Public Safety. You can take it to the Department of Public Safety, and then the Department of Public Safety can use that to update your last name on your ID, and then you get a new ID card. But as a notary, I cannot accept the marriage certificate as identification. I cannot use a marriage certificate as proof of the new last name. The signer has to go use that marriage certificate to obtain an ID that is acceptable in my state for me to use that as proof of their identity. So this is actually something, guys, that you are going to run into quite a bit. And you need to know how to handle this situation, because I know a lot of times, especially as new signing agents, we don't like telling companies no. But remember, we are notaries before we are signing agents, and we have to follow our state notary law first. That is the most important thing. Because here's the thing, guys, if you break the law, you personally can be found civilly liable. That means somebody can sue you and take money from you, or you could be found criminally liable. That means you can go to jail. And I tell people this all the time. I am happy that I get to help people sign their important mortgage documents, but nobody's mortgage is important enough for me to go to jail or to get sued. Do any of you guys, let me know in the chat, or let me know in the comments if you're watching this on the replay. Do any of you guys think that somebody else's mortgage is important enough for you to get sued, or somebody else's mortgage is important enough for you to go to jail? If you do, let me know down in the chat. Let me know. I'm curious. You guys might be more gangster than me. I don't know. So that is last name discrepancy. All right. And I'm going to tell you guys again more about how I handle these discrepancies in just a moment. The next type of discrepancy that you will see on names very often is nicknames. So for example, the loan documents may say Chris Smith, but the person's ID says Christopher Smith. And we've all seen people with nicknames like that. If their name is Kenneth, their nickname may be Ken or Kenny. If their name is, Joseph, their nickname may be Joe. We see people with shortened names or nicknames all of the times. Now, in these instances, again, you need to first check your state notary law, but you may be able to reasonably rely on other elements of the ID to identify that Chris is in fact the same person as Christopher, because again, that is a common nickname or a common way that people shorten their name. So you need to look at things on the ID like age. If the ID says that Christopher is 50 years old, but the person sitting in front of you looks like they're 21, that's probably not the same Christopher or Chris. You need to look at their height. If the ID says that they are 5'7", but the person sitting in front of you looks like a basketball player, that's probably not the same guy. Eye color. If their ID says that they have brown eyes, but the person sitting in front of you has blue eyes, that's probably not the same Chris. And vice versa. If all of the elements on the ID matches the person, same height, same age, same eye color, then you can probably reasonably believe that Christopher and Chris are the same person. So again, guys, we're not just grabbing IDs. We're looking at IDs. We're looking at the name that's on the document versus the name that is on the identification. We are looking at the elements that describe the person so that we can make sure to the best of our ability that the person sitting in front of us is the same person that is listed in the ID, and that is the same person as listed in the documents. All right. So another name discrepancy that you will see often is a suffix discrepancy. So what's a suffix? Well, a suffix is something that comes after the name. And the ones that we see are obviously junior, senior, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, whatever. So, for example, the signer's name appears on the document with junior or senior, but the suffix is missing from the signer's ID. Well, again, we may be able to reasonably rely on the other elements of the ID to identify that they are the same person. So again, we need to look at their age, we need to look at their height, we need to look at their eye color. Another thing that you need to do is compare the information on the ID to the information that is actually on the documents. And this is something that I had happen with one of the signing agents that works under me. I had assigned her a loan signing. She went out to do the signing. Guy shows up, hands her ID. The name on the ID matches the name on the documents. However, the person who showed up was junior. The person on the documents was senior. And my signing agent totally missed that. If she had compared the date of birth on the ID with the date of birth on the documents, then she would have realized, even though you have the same name, you're not the same person, okay? And we would have been able to avoid the whole drama that ensued after that. Luckily, it was an easy fix. It was figured out before the signing was completed. Those documents were destroyed, and then senior actually came out and signed the documents. But again, guys, we as notaries have got to take our job of deterring fraud very seriously. I've done, I don't know how many thousands, or at this point, even tens of thousands of signings that I've done. It's really easy to get in the habit of just, take the ID, glance at the name. Okay, same person, same person. But again, our job is to deter fraud. So we need to be looking specifically at elements on the ID as well as those elements on the documents to make sure that the person who is appearing before us is the person who should be signing those documents. All right. So then what do we need to do? If we notice a name discrepancy, whether it is a last name discrepancy, whether it is a nickname, whether it is a suffix discrepancy, what do we do to handle these things? Well, you're going to do different things in different instances. So first, on the last name discrepancy, guys, if the last name is totally different on the ID than it is on the documents, you cannot notarize the name as listed on the document. So again, if Jane's ID says Jane Smith and the documents say Jane Thomas, I cannot notarize the documents and put Jane Thomas in my notary certificate. The only name that I can put in my notary certificate is the name that I see on the ID, which is Jane Smith. So now, if you can reasonably rely on the other elements of the ID to identify the person, and all of the elements of your state notary law are met, then you can proceed in instances like nicknames and suffixes, right? So again, Chris and Christopher, if everything else on the ID says that, yes, that's the same person, and you've double checked date of birth on the documents and all that good stuff matches, then you can proceed with the notarization. Same thing with junior, senior, the third, all of that good stuff. Now, you may be able to notarize the documents, but what I suggest is that you put the name exactly as it is listed on the ID in your notary certificate. Okay. So again, if Jane Smith has an ID that says Jane Smith, documents say Jane Thomas, I don't care how she signs the document. She can sign Jane Thomas all she wants. I'm putting Jane Smith in the notary certificate because that is what I have ID for. Now, the signer might be able to sign with what's called an AKA. That means also known as. So then what Jane would do is she would sign Jane Smith, AKA Jane Thomas. So she would sign Jane Smith, also known as Jane Thomas. However, again, the only name that you're going to put in your notary certificate is the name on the ID. So again, if her ID says Jane Smith, the only name I'm putting in my notary certificate is Jane Smith, because I, as the notary, only have proof that she is Jane Smith. I do not have any proof that is acceptable by my state that she is Jane Thomas. I may believe in my heart that she done got married to Mr. Thomas. I can believe that she's Jane Thomas all day long, but I have to follow my state notary law. And if she does not have anything that is acceptable to my state notary law that says she is Jane Thomas, the only thing I can put in my notary certificate is Jane Smith. Now, again, guys, we are notarizing mortgage documents. So it's not just up to us as to whether some of these options are acceptable. The lender and the title company also have to be okay with these compromises, if you want to call them that. So let's say, again, we've got Jane Smith, ID says Jane Smith, documents say Jane Thomas. The lender and the title company have to be okay with her signing an AKA, Jane Smith, AKA Jane Thomas. So you need to talk to the company that hired you, and they need to get the okay from the lender or the title company for Jane to sign with the AKA. And then you need to also let them know that the only name that you're going to put in your notary certificate is the name that is on the ID. And I'm going to tell you this, guys, honestly, most lenders and title companies are not going to want to do that. They're going to want you to put the name that you don't have the ID for. And this is where you, as a notary public, have to refuse the notarization. Guys, we are independent contractors. We do not work for the lender. We do not work for the title company. We do not work for the real estate agents. Even though we're contracted by the signing company, we don't work for the signing company. Our first and most important duty is to follow our state notary law to deter fraud. So if any of those compromises that I've given, putting the name that's on the ID in the notary certificate and the signer signing with an AKA, if the lender or the title company or whoever says, no, we're not okay with that, we want you to put this other name that you don't have ID for, this is when you, as the notary, have to refuse the renotarization. Because again, if you don't, guess what could happen? You personally could face civil charges or criminal charges. And again, I'm looking back up in the chat. A couple of y'all said, yeah, y'all ain't going to jail. Y'all ain't going to jail and nobody wants to get sued. So to protect yourself and to protect the public, because that's our job as notaries public, is to protect the public, you have to refuse the notarization. All right. Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, hang on to your question and ask me at the end during the Q&A session, because we're going to go to our second big mistake that notaries and signing agents need to stop making. And those mistakes are backdating or post-dating your notary certificates. And if you are new to the real estate industry, the loan industry, the signing agent industry, you may not even know what backdating or post-dating is. So backdating is marking a contract or other legally binding agreement with a date that is prior to the current date. So at the time that I'm filming this live stream, it is currently November 9th, 2024. If I was filling out a notary certificate and somebody said, hey, we need you to put November the 6th in your notary certificate, that would be backdating because it is not November the 6th. It is currently November the 9th. The 6th is a date prior to the current date. So putting a date that is prior to the current date is called backdating, going back in time. All right. So then the opposite of that is post-dating. And post-dating is marking a contract or other legally binding agreement with a date that is later than the current date. So again, today, as I'm filming this live stream, it is November the 9th, 2024. If somebody told me, hey, we need you to put November the 12th, 2024 in your notary certificate, that would be post-dating. That would be putting a date that has not even occurred yet. It is later than the current date. Both of those things, guys, are a big no-no. Backdating and post-dating are never, ever, ever, ever allowed in a notary certificate. And more than likely, that is another thing that is against your state notary law. So look, I don't care why a company tells you they want you to backdate or post-date a document. You need to tell them no. Again, it is generally, and I'm going to say generally illegal because I don't know every word of every state's notary law. I'm going to say generally, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be all of them. It is generally illegal to backdate or post-date your notary certificate. Your notary certificate should always reflect the actual day of the notarization. So guys, if you are asked by anyone, again, I don't care if it's the signer, signing company, real estate agent, lender, title company, attorney, I don't care who asked. If you are asked to backdate or post-date a notarial certificate, you should refuse. Notarial certificates should never be post-dated or backdated to accommodate the signer or any other party. And again, guys, this is especially important for new and aspiring signing agents. If you're new, you may not even know that this is a bad thing to do. You may be thinking, oh, well, the company's asking me to do it, so it must be okay. But guys, it is not. And this is why it is super, super important for everyone who is a notary public in any state to make sure that you take the time to familiarize yourself and learn your state notary law. Because again, ignorance, guys, is not going to be a defense. If something happens and you get called into court as a notary because you've backdated or post-dated a notary certificate, you can't tell the judge, oh, I didn't know. They're not going to accept that, guys. Our job as a notary public is to know our state notary law. So hopefully, if you are a new or an aspiring signing agent, this will help you out to know that this is something that you can't do. Never, ever, ever, ever make that mistake. And the last big mistake, these are not the only mistakes, but the last big mistake that I often see new or aspiring signing agents do, and I even see some veteran signing agents do, is providing blank notary certificates. Now, when I say blank, I mean you signed it and you stamped it, but it does not go with any particular document, or you have not filled out the rest of the information in the notary certificate. Guys, a notary public should never, ever, ever provide a signed and stamped notarial certificate that does not specifically go with a particular document. And I used to see this a lot. I think a lot of companies are finally realizing that they shouldn't have been doing this. I don't see it as much anymore, but you may still see this. you may get a package from a signing service or a title company, and it may have some extra notary certificates in it. And they may say, hey, go ahead and sign and stamp these, and we're just going to use them just in case there's something wrong with one of the other notary certificates in the package. Guys, do not do that, because they could literally take that blank notary certificate that you've signed and stamped, and they can put it with any document they want. They could put it with a document that doesn't go with that package. They could put it with anything to commit fraud. And again, our job as a notary public, our most important job is to prevent fraud. And again, guys, I'm going to say most state notary laws prohibit this action. It's probably going to be all of them. But again, I don't personally know every state's notary law to the T. So the odds are that this is going to be against your state notary law anyway. And even if it's not against your state notary law, like I said, those blank certificates could be used to commit fraud. So we want to make sure that we are not doing anything that would assist in fraud. So again, guys, do not provide blank signed and stamped notary certificates. You may see loan packages with these extra blank notarial certificates in them, and you may be asked to sign and stamp these certificates and send them back with the signed documents in case there's an issue. But guys, you have to refuse this request. And again, this is probably against your state notary law for you to provide those types of blank notary certificates. But even if it is not against your state law, you don't want to do it. So now, as I told you, there's going to be times that you are going to have to say no to companies. The companies are never going to be happy. Let me just pre-warn you. They're never going to go, oh, okay, no worries, that's fine. They are going to be upset pretty much any time that you tell them that you're not able to do something. And I'll even have people ask me, like, why would companies even ask you to do something that's against the law? Well, first of all, those companies may not know notary law at all, or they may not know the notary law for your state. So there's some things that are legal in some states that's illegal in other states. And so even if that company knows the notary law for their state, they may ask you to do something that is legal in their state, but it is illegal in your state. So I like to try to give the companies the benefit of the doubt. I like to say they ask because they don't know that it is against the law. But realize, guys, no company, no individual can okay you to do something that is improper or illegal in your state. So if they're asking you to do something and you know it's illegal, and they go, oh, well, it's okay. The lender said it's okay, and the title company said it's okay, so you can go ahead and do it. Guys, it's still illegal. And again, you could personally face civil or criminal charges for doing that. Again, if you go in front of a judge, you can't tell the judge, well, I knew it was illegal, but the lender said it was okay. Or I knew it was illegal, but the title company said it was okay. Guys, that is not going to fly. You still going to be in trouble. You still going to have to face those consequences. So you've got to learn to tell companies no when they're asking you to do something that is illegal or improper. Because again, guys, at the end of the day, it's not the lender's job to know notary law. It's not the title company's job to know notary law. It's not the signer's job to know notary law. It's not the real estate agent's job to know notary law. That's our job. It is our job to know our state's notary law and to refuse any notarization that goes against our state notary law. Woo! All right. So guys, those were the 3 big mistakes that you need to stop making as a signing agent. Hopefully, none of you guys were making any of those mistakes, but maybe you didn't know they were mistakes. If you didn't know now you know. And if you've made those mistakes in the past, you can go ahead and start doing it right from this point forward. And guys, hopefully hearing this video, especially as a new or an aspiring signing agent, or even as a veteran signing agent who has never actually gotten training, this can help you to understand just how important it is to get training as a signing agent. Again, there is no legal requirement for training to become a signing agent. But guys, here's the deal. Again, you can face criminal or civil charges for doing things wrong. So you need to invest in yourself and invest in your business to get training to learn how to do things right, to learn how to do things legally. And going over the basics of notarization so that you can avoid those illegal mistakes is one of the things that I teach in my signing agent advanced training program. I teach you the basics of notary law. I teach you how to complete notary certificates properly. I teach you how to get documents signed properly. I give you sample documents. I give you mock closing videos so that you can see what actually happens in a loan signing. And when you are a signing agent advanced training program student, you get me as a mentor that you can actually reach out to for assistance. So guys, if you're looking for training, if you need training, you've already seen this video. You see how I teach. You see how I train. If you want more information about my Signing Agent Advanced Training Program, go down in the description box of the YouTube video and get more information about my Signing Agent Advanced Training Program. All right, guys. So now we are at the question and answer section of the video. If you've got questions or about any of the things that I have gone over in this video, feel free to ask. If you've got questions about other things that you're not sure, whether or not those things are signing agent mistakes or notary public mistakes, let me know. Now is the time. If you've got other questions just about becoming a signing agent or what it's like to be a signing agent, now is the time. If you are watching this video live, you can ask down in the chat. Or if you are watching this on the replay, then you can ask down in the comment section. And I see you guys were chatting over here. Let me see what's going on, what we've got going on here. Let's see. Willing Mobile Notary wants to know, what do I cover under 29 minutes marketing content? So I'm assuming you're asking, what do I teach as far as the marketing training in my Signing Agent Advanced Training Program? So I focus highly on how to get direct business. So for those of you who don't know, a lot of times people can get business through what are called signing services. And signing services are like middlemen because the title company or the mortgage company is generally the person or the entity that's looking for a signing agent. So signing services are kind of in between us as signing agents and the title company or mortgage company. However, since they're a middleman, they take a little bit of the money. And I don't blame them because they did part of the job of giving you business. In my marketing training, I teach you how to go directly to title companies and mortgage companies to get direct business because you will get paid more. I like doing the same amount of work for more money. I would rather make $150 or $200 for a signing instead of $75 or $85 or $100 for a signing. It just makes more sense to me to go straight to the source and get direct business. So I teach my students, even if they don't have any signing agent experience, even if they are new signing agents, I teach them how to go out and market for higher paying direct business. Now, I also teach you how to sign up with signing services because there's nothing wrong with working for signing services. I teach you how to optimize your signing agent profile so that whether direct business companies like title companies or mortgage companies are looking at your profile or signing services are looking at your profile, I teach you how to optimize your profile, how to make your profile look attractive so that when people see your profile, they go, that's a person who knows what they're doing. I want to hire that signing agent because I can tell from their profile that they are going to be a good bet. And then if you are one of my elite or exclusive students, I also do monthly Q&A sessions. I'm actually going to be meeting with them after this YouTube live. And then that way, if you need more one-on-one help or information or training on marketing, I am there for you to answer the specific questions that you have. But basically, in my marketing content, I focus on teaching you how to get higher paying direct business. Even if you're new, even if you've never done another signing before, you can still get direct business. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, you need to do, X amount of signings through signing services before you can get direct business. No, you don't. My very first signings were direct business signings. Signing agents that I mentor, some of their very first signings have been direct business signings. It is not as difficult as you think. You can do it, and I teach you how. All right, let's see. What's the best tool that catches fake driver's license or ID cards, and what specifically are you looking for with that device tool? So I don't use a particular device or tool. For the most part, just feeling and looking at a driver's license is going to give you a good idea of whether or not it's real. I mean, we all know, especially as they're making the updates to the real IDs with the stars and having holograms on the back, being able to feel the ID to see whether the numbers and the print on there is raised. And again, using common sense. Looking at the ID and using common sense is really all that you need. I've never used a device or a tool to help me catch a fake ID. You can generally feel an ID. We all know what a driver's license feels like and determine if it is real or if it is fake. I'm sure there are tools out there. I don't have one that I specifically use, so I don't have one that I can recommend. But again, I've personally never felt a need for a device to catch a fake ID. Let's see what we've got here. Sharon said, it would like to become a signing agent. Paid for a class to get certified. It turned out to be fraud in my state. I didn't go through the Secretary of Notary for my state. So I don't know if any state has classes to become signing agents. Your state may have a class that they require to become a notary public. As far as I know, there is no state required class to be a signing agent. Now, I will say this. In some states, you do have to have a title producer's license to accept money. And so in some states, if you want to be a signing agent, you do also have to get that additional license from your state. But as far as I know, there's no states that have a signing agent class. They may have a notary public class. But as far as I know, there's no states that have a signing agent class. And yes, if your state requires that you have a class as a notary public, then you absolutely want to go to your Secretary of State's website or your Department of State website. Those are the two government entities that are over notaries public. And they will have a specific section on their website specifically for notaries. So if your state requires a notary public class, go to your Secretary of State or Department of State website to find someone who is authorized to provide that training in your state. And then, like I said, for signing agent training, there is no legal requirement for signing agent training in any state. So this is where you have to do your research. And I tell people all the time, because there's several people out there. There's lots of folks out there who offer signing agent training. And you got to do your due diligence to find out, does this person know what the heck they're talking about? And do they teach in a way that works for me? And that's why watching videos like YouTube videos, live streams, Q&As, being able to talk to that person ahead of time before you purchase their training is important. Because obviously, since it is not a signing agent training is not a federal or state legally governed thing, and you've got to do your own research, you want to make sure that you are making the best choice for yourself as far as who you go to for signing agent training. So again, guys, not to toot my own horn, but I got a couple of years worth of videos that you can look at. And guys, my videos here on YouTube are absolutely free. They are videos that will help you as a notary or a signing agent that you don't even have to pay for. But then once you're ready to level up, once you're ready to go more in depth and get the actual deeper training that you need to be a successful signing agent, make sure that you check out my Signing Agent Advanced Training Program. I have a free webinar, guys, that I do several times a week. There's a link down in the description box for that free webinar. Check out that free webinar before you decide whether or not you want to do my training. All right, let's see. Do I fill my notary journal when completing loan signings form by form? This is something that is going to depend on your state notary law. Some states require that you keep a journal. Some states don't require that you keep a journal. Some states require that you put every document that you are notarizing on a separate line. Some states do not specify whether it has to be on a separate line or whether you could put them all on one line. So there's no one answer to this question. It depends on your state notary law. So first, look at your state notary law and see what your state notary law says about how you have to log things in your journal. Now, if your state notary law doesn't specify, if they kind of leave it open, the thing that I tell people all the time is your notary journal protects you. So this isn't just some extra thing that you got to do. This isn't just some annoying homework that you have to do. Your notary journal protects you. So you need to fill your notary journal out with enough detail that if in a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, you are called into court to testify about that notarization, you need to have enough detail in your notary journal to be able to testify to the notarizations that you did. So I will say this, whether you put it all, each document on an individual line, or whether you lump them all together, at minimum, you need to write down the name of every document that you are notarizing in that package. And you need to notate whether or not it is a jurat or an acknowledgement. And then, of course, fill out all of the information that your state requires. That is usually the person's name, their current address. Usually for real estate transactions, you need to fill out the property address that they're purchasing. You need to fill out what type of ID they're providing you. And then you also need to know what you cannot put in your notary journal. Here in the state of Texas, we cannot put ID numbers. So if I see somebody's Texas driver's license as their ID, I write that I saw their Texas driver's license, but I cannot put their ID number. Also in the state of Texas, we cannot keep biometric information like fingerprints for a long time in our journals. So it's actually a best practice in Texas to not get fingerprints. But guys, this is where you have to do your due diligence as a notary public to look at your state notary law, know your state notary law, and follow your state notary law. Awesome. Hopefully that answered your question. Let's see. I'm going to see if I've got any other questions in here right now. Doesn't look like it, guys, but hopefully this video helped you out. Again, guys, I want each and every one of you to be successful. I sincerely do. Whether you take my training or not, I want you to be successful. And I want you to perform your role as a notary public and prevent fraud. And I want to help keep you out of trouble. I don't want none of y'all to get sued. And I don't want none of y'all to go to jail. So thank you so much for watching this video today. Again, I hope it helped you out. If this video was helpful, again, let me know down in the chat. Or if you're watching this on the replay, let me know down in the comments. But as usual, guys, I'm excited that I got to spend time with you today. And I can't wait to hang out with you next month for the next live stream. This is Kendra with Signing Agent Basics, and I hope that you have a productive and profitable day. Bye, guys.